Greetings, folks, and welcome to today's show. Our guests today are the two candidates running for the Tennessee House of Representatives for the 47th District, which we're all in. 47th covers all of Coffee County and a part of Warren County. Our two candidates are on the end, Rush Bricken, who is the Republican candidate, and next to me is Mike Winton, who is carrying the Democratic flag, Democrats. So I want to thank both of you for taking time to join us and share your views. And what I'd like to do is to give each one of you, and maybe we'll go ahead and start with one, give each one of you a couple of 3 minutes to just tell the folks who you are and how come you're running, or whatever is on your mind that you want to do in 2 or 3 minutes. So, Mike, you're sitting next to me. Let's start with you.
All right. Good morning, and thank you for having us. It was a long and a little bit of a stressful journey for me to get here. I really hadn't considered running for this seat, and my wife and I began to pray about this, and she was actually the first person to come on board, and she suggested I do this. And I get asked all the time, why are you running? And the best way I can describe that is Tom, I've got a picture that we made of my family. And I look in that picture and I see my grandchildren, and I think about education and their opportunities. And I want to make sure that we have the right voice in Nashville and in our local district that gives those kids that opportunity. We failed our kids and our educators sometimes, and I just want to be sure to protect that. Also in that picture, I see a couple of kids that have special needs. I've got a grandson with cerebral palsy and a grandson that has seizures. And I know that pre-existing conditions in the healthcare industry are a major issue. And the right medication that they can have is an issue. And I want to make sure to protect them, but also your children and grandchildren. And I look at my children and I want them to have a living wage job. I don't want them to work 2 jobs like their dad did. And then I look at myself, the old coot in the picture, and I think, you know what? Our seniors need a little protection as well, and I want to be there and be that voice. So that kind of does it for me.
Everybody needs a little protection. Huh?
Every little bit.
Okay. So. All right. Mike, thanks for that. Let's before we get to Rush, let's take a short commercial break, folks.
Ah, the glory days. Running to daylight on the gridiron and chasing a ball with a mind of its own. Cheering the team to victory and marching to the beat of your own drum. Memories that last a lifetime. But sometimes we're reminded of our glory days in ways we'd rather forget. Get back in the game. The rehab team at Life Care Center of Tullahoma is ready to help you live and play well.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
Rush Bricken understands the importance of education.
Rush Bricken knows agriculture and farming is vital to Tennessee.
Rush Bricken believes in a good education and creating job skills. On November 6th, you have a choice for your Tennessee State Representative.
I'll represent your conservative values in Nashville.
40 years in business.
I'm picking Bricken.
20 years on the county commission.
We're picking Bricken.
Vote Rush Bricken November 6th to the Tennessee State House of Representatives.
We're talking today, folks, with the two candidates for the 47th district seat for the House of Representatives for Tennessee. And our two guests are Rush Bricken, who you just heard from on the ad, who's the Republican candidate, and Mike Winton, the Democrat candidate. So we just heard from Mike, gave us a couple of 3 minutes on who he is and why he's running, and let's hear that from Rush.
All right, again, Tom, thanks for having us here today. I am Rush Bricken. I'm married to a lovely wife, Belinda. We have 4 children, all raised here in Tullahoma and went to public schools here. Have 4 wonderful grandchildren. I've lived in Tullahoma for 42 years. I've worked here as banking and as a CPA in public accounting. I've been involved in community service all my life, a long-term Kiwanian, active in my church. I've been on the county commission for 22 years, the last 8 years as budget chairman. So I certainly believe in giving back to our community. The reason I'm running, one, I just retired as CEO of Coffee County Bank this August, so I have the time. But more importantly, I do believe in giving back. I believe I have the experience to be an effective representative for our community here. I know the officials here, the community leaders. I certainly know their concerns, and I certainly want to be able to represent those concerns in Nashville. I do believe in good government, and good government to me has always been fiscal, constitutionally based government. Certainly a strong advocate for education and career training. Those things are, again, I'm a product of public education. My children went to public school, so public education is vital in Tennessee. And so I can certainly go on. Roads and bridges, law enforcement. I mean, Tennessee's primary focus for Tennessee government is education, providing good jobs, public safety, and so those are the areas I will focus in on when I become our area's next representative.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rush. These gentlemen are running for the seat that has been held for many years and will be until the 6th of November by Judd Matheny. So it's a pretty well-known spot. I have looked around for a couple of things in which these two gentlemen might have a little different idea, and I thought we might explore a couple of those. And for starters, I'd like to look at the health care issue. Rush's comment on some of the material that I saw was that he believes in a free market solution for health care. The question is, what does that mean, Rush?
Well, the private sector should be the number one area that we go to for public health. The government, again, whether it's TennCare or Medicare, certainly is very vital. And the issue really is, that's certainly debated, and Mike and I have talked about this, is, and I'm going to get right to it, it's the Medicaid TennCare expansion. It's on the table. I am open to looking at Medicaid expansion, as long as it doesn't come with federal strings and additional cost exposures that's going to take away from worthy programs here in Tennessee, such as education and such. So 12 years ago, Tennessee almost went, not when I say bankrupt, but the TennCare program got into really financial trouble. We had to remove 150,000 Tennesseans off TennCare because the federal government started pulling back their funding, and the only way we were going to make it up was facing an income tax. We can't put Tennessee back in that situation again. So there's got to be an avenue that if those federal dollars are there without the strings attached, certainly I'm open to it, but we got to be very careful if we go down that path. So that is the area certainly I will certainly look at as a
when did you ever get money from the feds that didn't have some strings attached?
Well, they can be done by purely grant and let Tennessee healthcare programs decide how to use it best for Tennesseans.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Mike. What's your take on that? You have indicated there hadn't been enough money available to expand access to care. Could you be a little more specific? What do you got in mind?
Well, it's not that the money's not been available. In fact, the money has been available. We, as a state and through our legislators, just didn't accept it.
Are you talking about the federal money?
Yes, American Health Care Act, when it was resolved, indicated to every state that your responsibility is for this class of income people. And to date, there's been $5.3 billion of our tax monies, Tom, that have been sent to other states. So what happens is when our tax monies are collected, we don't get that back because we didn't accept it. That goes back into that pool. So states like Kentucky and Arkansas and even Indiana, where Governor Pence was then governor, has accepted that responsibility, accepted those funds, and healthcare has actually been reduced 7% overall by having those funds available. Now, is that going to last forever? Certainly not. But for every dollar that we've spent to other states, we could have used that here.
When you say other states, you're saying this is money that was collected in Tennessee that went to the federal government.
Yes.
And we declined to take it back.
We declined to take it back, and it was sent
so they
because
gave it to somebody else.
It was earmarked for health care, and then states taking advantage of that have reaped a windfall from it. Our hospital industry had guaranteed, if we would pass it, they would guarantee to take care of the 10% cost that would be affected by the state. And we've had families that have lost health care. They don't go to doctors because they have no health care, but they wind up at Harton with an emergency room. That's the most expensive health care you can get. And we've lost 11 hospitals in rural Tennessee because we don't have the expansion monies to take care of those. We've lost jobs, we're losing tax base, and we're losing all the way around because we didn't be responsible and take those tax dollars back.
How much money were we talking about in that first go-around?
Well, to date, it's over $1 million a day. And to date, it's $5.3 billion. So basically, if I laid out $5.3 billion on the table, Tom, and said, you got an option to use this in your state, or no, let's send it somewhere else. And what we did is we sent it somewhere else.
Well, that sounds kind of
It's simple.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds simple, yeah. That's one of your theme songs, isn't it? Common sense.
Common sense.
Yeah.
It could be.
Okay. All right. Let's move along a minute. Rush, your low taxes and small government. How do we take that? Can you expand on a little bit? What do you mean by that?
First of all, Tennessee's Constitution, when our forefathers laid it out, did a great job. Tennessee is the most fiscally sound state in the country. AAA bond rating, their pension coverage for all the state employees are 100% funded. The state legislature only meets 45 days a year, and I think that's wonderful because you got to get your business done and get home.
Go home.
So that basic structure is just a great foundation for keeping government small. Government really should be the last resort for almost everything we do in our daily lives. You should be responsible for taking care of your families, not the government. The opportunities should be there for you. So if the government stays out of the way, I certainly believe in the American enterprise, the work ethic of Tennesseans, and that is what has made Tennessee a wonderful state and made our nation great. So it really is keeping government, again, small, keep reducing any unnecessary regulation. Businesses, farmers do not need any more regulations. Farmers and businesses certainly want to put out good products, healthy products, provide those, but they understand what good regulations are. So we don't need to be looking just to layer more burden on farmers and businesses. So.
Okay. All right. Well, we need to take a short commercial break, folks, and we'll come back and pick up where we're leaving off.
Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has proudly served your auto rental for over 30 years. Check out this huge selection to choose from. Small car, mid-size car, full-size car, crossover vehicle, SUV, minivan, pickup trucks, 12 and 15 passenger vans. Whether big or small, Russell Barnett Hometown Auto Rental has them all. Stop by our 2 locations to serve you, Tullahoma and in Winchester. And remember, my question is, why rent anywhere else?
I'm Mike Winton, your Democratic candidate for state representative. I'm the same type Democrat that your parents and grandparents were. I'm pro-life without question. I'm pro-Second Amendment without question. I'm not concerned about whether we're red or blue. I want us to be red, white, and blue. Partisan politics is killing us. Contact a campaign that's for you. Mike Winton for state representative. Go to votemikewinton.com.
Paid for by the candidate.
When your family suffers the loss of a loved one, the caring and compassionate staff at Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel are standing by to assist you in every way possible. We are proud to support local industry and offer only Batesville caskets. Many funeral homes don't own or operate a crematory. We utilize the only crematory in Coffee County. Your loved one never leaves Coffee County. We can accommodate any need and any budget. Consider our complete pre-need service to remove this burden from your family during their time of grief. Lock in today's low costs and protect from inflation. Tullahoma Funeral Home and Coffee County Funeral Chapel. Our family caring for your family.
We're talking today, folks, with our 2 candidates for the 47th District Tennessee House spot. They are Rush Bricken, the Republican candidate, and Mike Winton, the Democrat. Mike, let's come to you. You had an interesting comment in some of your material in which you were trying to make sure that everybody had a living wage and good benefits. What do you got in mind there? What role does the government have in those two?
Well, first of all, we need to make sure that we're still continually being physically conservative. Our government is based on a budget, a balanced budget every year. We don't have that option to do anything other because that's just in our Constitution. So what we have to do to create better jobs is we have to recruit better jobs. It's not a matter of government creating those jobs, but it's a matter of our state being attractive enough to these industries that we are able to get those companies. I go back to the education, we go back to healthcare, and all these are intricate parts of doing that. But can you imagine being one of those counties that lost your hospital, do you ever suppose that the company is going to be looking at that as a prime location to put a plant? Certainly not. So we have to be careful about what we do as government to make sure that we're attractive enough. We want to be able to expand our testing at Arnold Air Force Base. We want to be able to ask Bridgestone to expand their job base in McMinnville or Warren County. We want to be sure that Batesville Casket and companies that have really good living wage jobs have our support, and we're looking for other companies like that we recruit back into our area. If we don't have our trained staff of people to be able to do those jobs in our education format, if we don't have the health care available and the facilities to cover those people, we won't get them. And I think that's our responsibility as government.
Okay, you're not suggesting that the government has any direct role in providing a living wage.
We don't need to create the job. We just need to be able to ensure that we recruit the companies that can create the job.
And that we have the atmosphere that
yes.
attracts them.
Yes.
All right. Well, as long as we're with you, let's touch on one more. You made a point of the fact that there was a lack of educational funding and support. Mm-hmm. What's short there? What's the lack?
Well, it seems to be maybe threefold. I'm not an educator, so I don't have that background. And so I started just to reach out to educators, also people in the education field, and ask what are the reasons that we're not able to get over this hump. We're not doing well in the standards of education. Our children are somewhere around the 47th mark in our country. That's not satisfactory. And what we found is that TVAS, and it's 10 Ready, and these are all acronyms that I apologize and I don't know all their detailed meanings, but these are all programs that have been put into our education system that stifle our education system. Our educators, on the other hand, are burdened with all this to try to make it work, and then for the last 3 years, it's failed to work. It's failed to succeed. Our students are suffering. Our educators are feeling villainized because they're under the scrutiny of these programs that are just set up so that it says, look, you didn't do a good enough job. You didn't do this correctly.
You're talking about what, 10 Ready?
10 Ready and TVAS are two of the different programs that we're using. We've spent over $3 million every year for that contract, and it's failed to perform. And this is an out-of-state company. This is not even a company in Tennessee that we're allowing to do this program. Our educators are underpaid. So when you get a good educator to come to Tullahoma or Coffee County Schools or Warren County School, and they get offered a job in Georgia for $10,000 more a year, it's not hard to drive down there for $10,000 a year. It's not hard to take a private school job. It's not hard to go to a city school where you get paid more.
Well, how much money are you talking about? You got any goal you're talking about there?
We just need to even the playing field with our educators here and look at the national average. Our students shouldn't be 47. Our students should be number 1. If we're ever going to be a competition for the other states, we need to act like it.
Well, again, we're not talking quantity. There's a question of how much money we're talking about and where is it coming from.
Well, for one aspect, we have what we call a rainy day fund. And if my children, and I'm just being personal, but if my children and my family are suffering because of that, guess what? I think it's raining. It's time to use some of it. It's time to put that in our budget. If we did away with the $3 million contract, we could put that money right back into the school system.
Okay.
Right?
All right. Well, let's move on briefly. Rush, let's give you a minute to tell us where you're going to get the money for more roads and bridges.
Well, first of all, Tennessee's economy is doing quite well, okay? We got to keep it growing, and the growth in the Tennessee economy is generating additional revenue. So those additional revenues in the general fund, first of all, we had the Improve Act passed a year and a half ago, which raised the Tennessee gas tax. Those monies are flowing into roads and bridges here in Tennessee. So that, I think we're going to see additional improvement in our roads from those funds. But for the two areas that excess funds coming out of the general fund, and again, the Tennessee's budget is close to $40 billion. First is education. Last year, that was probably the first good raises teachers got for the first time, long overdue. So the first part of any excess money needs to go to education and continuing to give all children the opportunities for career training. Then grants to local cities and counties for road improvements. I mean, we drive around Tullahoma, Manchester, and Warren County, and the potholes are growing. We certainly need to give those communities additional help to improve their roads.
Okay. Well, with that, folks, guess what? We have flat run out of time. We'll have to take a short break and wrap up.
It's football time in Tennessee, and nobody tackles the competition like the Russell Barnett Automotive family. With 6 locations to serve you, certified collision center, over 1,000 new and pre-owned vehicles to choose from at russellbarnett.com, hometown auto rental, limited lifetime powertrain warranty on certain units, certified pre-owned units. Too many reasons to mention why. Keep asking the question, why buy anywhere else?
So you've been meaning to do something healthy, commune with nature, get outdoors and meet new people. We have the perfect solution. Come hike with us. You can find a Tennessee Trails Association chapter near you, including Clarksville, Columbia Franklin, Highland Rim, Jackson, Knoxville, Oak Ridge, Memphis, Murfreesboro, Nashville, Plateau at Crossville, and Upper Cumberland. We're on the web at TennesseeTrails.org. It's fun, it's stress-free, and it's good for you. See you on the trails.
Been talking today, folks, with our 2 candidates for the 47th District seat in the Tennessee House of Representatives. That's the district that covers Coffee County and a piece of Warren County. And our 2 candidates have shared their views today are Mike Winton, who is the Democrat candidate, and Rush Bricken, who is on the Republican ticket. We have tried to spot a few areas where the gentlemen are particularly interested in to give you some additional insight on what their thoughts are, and which might lead you hopefully to make a more careful selection. So I want to thank you gentlemen for taking time to join us and share your views.
Thank you.
And you have our, both of you have our best of luck, our wishes for the best of luck for the 6th of November. Get out there and vote, folks. And meanwhile, I want to thank you for inviting us into your parlor, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.